This is Arkies in the Beltway, your look at national politics and the Arkansans influencing the discussions. I'm Alex Thomas, Washington correspondent for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, reporting from the nation's capital. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of October 19th, 2025. The federal government shutdown continues, and there are no clear signs of this funding lapse ending anytime soon. Congress was supposed to approve a spending measure funding the government into the new fiscal year before October. The House approved a continuing resolution on September 19th, which would provide funding through November 21st. The Senate, however, has yet to approve this bill. Despite Republicans controlling both chambers of Congress, the Senate has been unable to meet the 60-vote threshold that is necessary for advancing most legislation. At the center of the dispute, the future of enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act marketplace. These tax credits are set to expire at year's end, triggering a sharp increase in premium cost. Republicans have said they are willing to discuss the subsidies once lawmakers reopen the government. But Washington State Senator Patty Murray says her colleagues should address the issue now.
Those rate hikes are in the mail. They are going out to our constituents. Window shopping is going live. Folks can now go online in many states and see the exact cost of Republican inaction.
Murray speaking last Thursday on the Senate floor. She is the top Democrat on the Senate Appropriations Committee. As for the House, Congress's lower chamber has not held a single vote since September 19th. Members have been back in their districts over the last month. Speaker Mike Johnson has called on Senate Democrats to support the short-term funding measure, contending the House did its part to prevent a shutdown. The government shutdown has not stopped Representative Rick Crawford from announcing new legislation to provide farmers with some financial support. The Jonesboro Congressman and Louisiana Republican Julia Letlow are the lead sponsors of the Bridge the Gap for Rural Communities Act. The bill comes as farmers continue to struggle with low crop prices and high input cost, as well as international shifts away from American crops. Crawford says these problems are not new, and they have only gotten worse in recent years.
It's a perfect storm, for negative impact on rural economies.
Lawmakers and agricultural groups alike have focused their attention on possible help for row crop farmers. The U.S. Department of Agriculture projects cash receipts for the country's farm sector will grow by nearly $11 billion between 2024 and 2025. But animal and animal products will likely fuel this increase. The department projects cash crop receipts will fall by around $12 billion by year's end. Republicans updated agriculture programs to meet current needs through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, but these changes will not take effect until next year. Crawford says farmers may need help to get to next season.
What we're trying to do is recognize the real-time need for improved cash flow, while also understanding that we've already achieved quite a bit from a policy perspective, but we still have to, as the name implies, bridge the gap to get us between now and then.
The Bridge the Gap for Rural Communities Act has two major components. The first would provide farmers with an option to receive a 50% partial payment for losses in this crop year. Crawford notes farmers would otherwise need to wait until next October to get this money.
We don't know what the future holds. Maybe this is not necessary, but maybe it is.
If the bill does become law, it would not mark the first time farmers would have access to partial payments. Hunter Byram is an extension agricultural economist with the University of Arkansas. He says the 2002 Farm Bill allowed farmers to access advanced deficiency payments.
Farmer could get 50% up front, just like Congressman Crawford is proposing, and then there'd be a second payment. The other 50% would come later. So this is not novel.
The bill's second part concerns the price loss coverage and the agriculture risk coverage programs. Byram says farmers use these services to get financial help during periods of low crop prices and declining farm revenue.
Farm income can change day to day based on where the markets are, based on what the crop prices are doing. And so farmers effectively are having to base their salary, base their wages on things that change, on market factors that change day to day. So these programs help them to stabilize the income that they generate from farming.
Both programs have current payment limitations of $125,000. The Crawford-Letlow measure would suspend these limits for the ongoing crop year. Andrew Grobmeyer with the Agricultural Council of Arkansas says farmers are not fans of these payment ceilings.
There's arbitrary and we feel discriminatory limitations on how much a producer can receive. We never have supported any payment limits. Just feel that they're, again, arbitrary and discriminatory and defeat the kind of the purpose behind them when they start hitting and we're not providing full support for production.
Crawford and Letlow's push comes amid discussions between the White House and Capitol Hill on possible economic relief for farmers. Senator John Bozeman of Rogers has been involved in those talks. Bozeman serves as the chair of the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee. Grobmeyer says Congress should consider a legislative package to help farmers, hoping lawmakers address individual assistance as well as larger issues like China's embrace of Latin American crops over American products.
The problems are much larger and require much greater attention and a lot more resources.
Council President Joe Mincer testified before the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative in September regarding how Brazil's economic policies are affecting the United States. Mincer said China has been investing in Brazil and other countries, creating new competition for American farmers. Regarding possible economic assistance, a plan has yet to be finalized. Bozeman says his colleagues understand the dire situation in rural America given the current state of agriculture.
The question is, how much does that need to be? Who's going to get the money and how you distribute it? And those are all difficult problems to work through.
Bozeman says talks are continuing, but the government shutdown has impacted these discussions.
I know how important it is to get this out sooner rather than later. Our farmers are in a position that they're going to be talking to their lenders very soon. The lenders, in order to help them go forward, are going to need to answer. They're going to need to know the answer to these questions.
The Department of Agriculture has stopped several services during the shutdown. This includes processing payments, disaster assistance, and certain loan activities. Funding for nutrition assistance programs, which the department oversees, will likely run out in November without any future action. And that'll do it for this edition of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of October 19th, 2025. You can stay up to date with all news involving Arkansas at arkansasonline.com. Special thanks, as always, to the team down in Little Rock. I'm Alex Thomas, and this has been Arkies in the Beltway. Thanks for listening.